Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is episode 301 of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast. And 1, 2, 3 galaxies. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call it online marketing moves. And we are coming to you live today. Today is June the 9th, 2021 at the time of this recording. It is noon, everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It's noon out here in Georgia. It looks like it's going to try to rain. You know, I will tell you what. I enjoy the rain, but you know what I don't enjoy about the rain? I do not enjoy working in the rain. And you know why I do not enjoy working in the rain? Because anytime, ladies and gentlemen, it rains and I have to drive the truck, every time, it never fails. I always had to get in and out of the truck. I always had to make like 4 stops, 5 stops, 6 stops. I never can just get in the truck, drive, watch the rain. No, for some reason, whenever it rains, they're like, hey, you got 6 stops, 7 stops, 8 stops. And hopping in and out of the truck when it's raining is woo, because you get the floor all wet, you get your seat wet, you have a one thing I learned? I had a poncho. I bought a poncho once. I'll tell you a quick story. I don't know about you. maybe women are different. I'm pretty sure women are different. But this probably attains to guys more. When I was younger, it would rain and I never had an umbrella. I was like, man, F umbrella. What I need an umbrella for? You know what I mean? Like I would just walk out. Maybe I had a sweatshirt on or something, a hooded jacket. I would put that on, but other than that, that was it. And then I remember I got engaged to my wife. I was like, man, I'm 37 at the time. I think I was 36, 37. And I was like, you know what? I need to start getting an umbrella. I need to get a poncho. So I got a poncho, to put it on so when it's raining. So I remember it started raining hard one day, and I was like, ooh, my poncho. I put the poncho on. It was raining. I'm like, cool. I'm like, look at this, man. Got my poncho, not getting all soaked and wet. My clothes not getting all wet. And I was proud of myself, I thought I was really doing something. And I was like, see, I ain't trying to be all macho. And of course, took the poncho off, shook it a little bit, rolled it up, put it in the back of the truck, no, in the seat, under the seat. And then it was like a few weeks later, it was raining again, and I was about to whip that poncho out, and I was like, this poncho stinks. And I remember I called my wife, and she said, did you wash it? Did you dry it off? And I was like, nah. And she's like, you got to dry those things, don't you? I was like, oh, I didn't even think about it. Boom. Okay. So if you buy a poncho, if you buy an umbrella, make sure you try to dry it off. Dry it off. You don't want to get it wet. You don't want to get it moldy. You don't want to get it stinky. Okay. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I bought yesterday? And I'm going to give you a tip. Okay. Whenever you I do a lot of research about hosting shows, because this is a show, and I host a show, and yeah, it's informative. Yeah, and I want you to walk away learning something, walk away thinking about stuff, but at the same time, you don't want to be, you don't want to be dry as paint. You don't want to be a kind of a snooze. You know what I mean? You want to be, you want to be hosty. You want to, you want to do good in that aspect. You want to keep the audience awake. You want to keep the audience engaged. So I bought this DVD about Johnny Carson. So I'm going to go upstairs after I'm done recording and everything, and I got to make a couple phone calls. So we're going to go upstairs, and I'm going to go watch Johnny Carson. I'm going to take a few notes about the king of late night. All right. And so I suggest, you don't have to do, you don't have to, I don't study it all the time, but every now and then when I see a host of a show, I'm like, well, let me watch for a couple minutes. And my wife was like, why in the world did you buy a Johnny Carson DVD? And I'm like, for research. She's like, research what? I'm like, no, come on. My wife, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, there's a means to all this. I'm like, look, sister, there's a method to the madness that your husband's in these days, okay? And I know and I know it's working and I know it's paying off. You know what I mean? And so people will not understand where you're coming from, but as long as you know it, as long as you know the plot, as long as you know the plan, that's a-okay. All right. So if you can study anybody you want to, you don't have to study Johnny Carson. I watch different people, like a lot of I've seen a lot of shows on Netflix about food. My wife, she watches a lot of them. So I watched one, and I remember the guy. He was kind of dry, kind of dull to me, because he was like, "And what do you think about this food?" And I think it's, and I'm like, man, what in the world is going on with this guy? And he was very dry, and I was like, all right, rule number 150, don't be that dry. You know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I'm going to bring something up. Now, I don't know about other countries, but in America, if you want to be, let's say, independent contractor, work for yourself, I'll give an example. If you ever drove Lyft or Uber, okay, you don't. If you make over $600, you have to report it. If you don't make over $600, you do not have to report it as self-employment tax. Okay. So keep that in mind. And the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of people now, when I say a lot of people, well, please go away. Hold on. All right. Well, this phone just be ringing. But a lot of people bring up this fact, and I see it on my Facebook page quite a bit. They're like, you should start a LLC, blah, 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 blah. Listen, you don't have to start anything if you're not if you don't make over $600. And my advice is there's a couple kind of people, okay? I would give you an example. I would use me an example. I'll give you a quick story. One time, I think around might have been 2007, 2008. I was self-employed. I started a little business, and the business did quite well for 1 year. So I did all right for 1 year and made a few bucks. But the thing is, I didn't have any kind of setup. I didn't have any kind of structure. I made a boatload of money and I didn't report it to the government. Not because I was trying to skate by, just because ignorance. And you can't claim ignorance of the law. Okay. Because once I started and I was really into it and I was really going, and I just never got around to filing any kind of paperwork. And it cost me, I think I had to give them like $7,000, $6,000, something like that. So for me, when I decided, I was like, hey, I'm going to do this thing on the internet. I started and I was like, before I even make a dime, I set up an LLC. Not because I'm like, oh, I know I'm about to get rich, but just because I know me. And once I start making money and once I really get into it and it's things just start flowing and things started happening, I knew that I would forget and I would not even give it a thought. Not to do it on purpose, but it's just how it is. I'll be like, man, we on such a road. Why stop? You have to go down and file paperwork or, get on LegalZoom or whatever. But so if you're that kind of person, I highly recommend that you set up something before you even get started, because when you get started, you forget about it. Oh man, it's going to bite you in the butt. Okay. But if you're somebody who's like, I'll wait. Let me see what happens first, then you can wait. And then you can set up whatever kind of, I'm not an accountant. I got a couple books if you want to ever borrow some about small business, and I got a couple books about taxes. So if you ever want to borrow any, please feel free. I'll send them to you. You can send them back. But it's just there's no right, there's no wrong way. And there's different corporations. They got S corp, C corp, LLCs, all this kind of stuff. you know, it just depends on what works for you. So keep that in mind. Don't listen to your brother, don't listen to your mother unless they are an accountant, unless they actually know what they're talking about. I see a lot of my family, they try to give financial advice. I'm like, yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm only gonna take financial advice from people who are, you know, unless you got a story like, hey, I lost $10,000 because I didn't file this paperwork. I'll listen to that, or I'll listen to you if you are pretty successful in as far as doing paperwork and all that kind of stuff. But if you're just a person who's like, I saw 2 Instagram posts and now I'm an account. No, I don't want to listen to. I don't want to listen to that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do something that we haven't done in a long time. You know what that is? We are going to come back and do a second segment. Whoa, look out, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So listen to this commercial. We'll be back with the second segment. All right. All right. All right. Welcome back. I know you are ready to start a podcast on Anchor. So go ahead and start whatever kind of podcast you want. And if you do happen to, if you do listen to the show and you do start any kind of videos, you start any kind of podcast, feel free to email me and I will listen and I will, support, because man, I mean, it's listen, starting any kind of journey, starting any kind of adventure is always kind of rough in the beginning, and there's not gonna be a lot of fanfare, not a lot of claps on the back. You know what I mean? So if you are looking for some support, you're looking for some help, some advice, or whatever. If you do YouTube or you do podcasts or you do whatever, blog posting, feel free to email me and I'll check them out. I'll watch the videos while I'm at work, or I'll wake up and watch them, check them out. You know what I mean? So, but that's just a helpful hint from me to you. Now, today, what I want to talk to you about is the reset button. And I bring this up because yesterday, well, in the last couple of months, I really haven't. I've been writing stuff, but I haven't been posting it on my website. My website was called thelousydriver.com. And I really didn't. The reason why I really stopped doing the website is because A, it wasn't quite working. It wasn't quite what I wanted. And B, I want to rename it, redo the whole thing. So I decided yesterday, I called Bluehost up and I said, I just want to take the website down. And they're like, "Oh, you sure?" Blah, 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 And I was talking to the guy, and the guy, he was like, he's like, we can help you out for $150 a month. And we can do this, we can do that. We can walk you through everything and we can set it all up, because what I want for a website is I want it to be a one-stop shop. I want all my stuff to be on the website, and then eventually I'm going to create a, well, I don't know about create an app, but there's a place I know I can go and get started on an app. Like, they already have it set up. I just have to pay monthly and I can put all my stuff there too. So I want to do both. I want to create a website. I want to create an app so people can just go and get all the videos, read all the posts, get all the podcasts on a daily basis, and they don't have to dig around and all that kind of stuff. But it got me to thinking about hitting the reset button. And I know we talked about keep going and keep striving, and this is part of the process. I've had that website for the last, I believe, year and a half, maybe. And it was okay. It wasn't really two things. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest website in the world, but it was it was up there, and I knew I needed a website just to have on the internet. You know what I mean? So I paid the guy $100, and he put it up there, and it was okay. People found the website. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't what I wanted. It was just something to get started with, and that's the whole point of this whole online thing. This is the part of anything. Sometimes you just want to get started. Sometimes you just want to get out there. Now I did that website. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest in the world, but I've learned. I've learned different things. I've learned from the mistakes I made at the beginning, and now I'm going to redo. I'm going to build a website that's going to be 20 times better than that. It's going to be more. It's going to be 20 times better than that, and we're going to upload the podcast on a regular basis. We're going to do posts on a regular basis, videos on a regular basis. We're going to have a real website, a real money generating website, and sometimes you just want to get started, and it's not gonna be, and the point is, when you get started, it doesn't matter. The point is just to get started. Okay, it might not be what you're looking for. It might not be perfect. It's not the perfect. It's not. It's the starter. It's the starter home. You know what I mean? That website, thelousydriver.com, was the starter home, and now we're going to build Online Marketing Moves, and Online Marketing Moves will be a forever home. You know what I mean? And so keep that in mind when you want to get started. One problem that I had was perfection. Always trying to be perfect, and by no means am I perfect. So why am I trying to make things perfect? Like, I'm a human. We're all human. None of us are perfect. None of us, none of us are gonna none of us are gonna do things 100% all the time. We all make mistakes. Just learn from them, grow from them, and move on. And you can start. Like, who's gonna try to make a perfect house if you don't have a foundation? You know what I mean? So build a foundation, just get started, and take it from there. And if one website doesn't work, two websites don't work, maybe the third website will work. Who knows? Who cares? But the most important thing that I want you to do is just get started. And it's all right to hit the reset button every now and then. Now I'm not gonna get now for a month or two, my email list probably will stop growing, but that's okay because I don't like those people. I'm just kidding. I don't like those people anyway. No, no. But I'm just kidding. But that's the thing I just wanted to tell you. Like, it's all right to get started. Just get started and take it from there. And things will start working out. You will start figuring things out along the way, and you'll be like, okay, I know what I need to do next time. Like, I know for the next website, I want my SEO to be strong. Like, I need backlinks. I need SEO content. I need to word it correctly. Like, I'm going to go in depth, and I'm going to make it great, and I'm going to make Online Marketing Moves one of the best websites on the internet. And I'm going to take that and then convert it into the app, so that way people could just go on, I don't even know what I'm gonna name the app. It might be Tony Rizzano. It might be Online Marketing Moves. It don't matter. It'll probably be Tony Rizzano though. But I'm gonna make the app just as strong as the website, and boom, boom, boom. All right, because having a website online is sort of like having a piece of real estate. So it's cool. It's great. I enjoyed The Lousy Driver. It was I spent a lot of time on that website trying to figure things out, trying to make it work. And it was great. It was cool. It was a lot of learning, a lot of bumps, a lot of bruises, a lot of learning, but it got some good stuff out of it. And it's all right to hit the reset button. It's all right to say, hey, this ain't working. Hey, this thing didn't work. This thing is not working, man. But it did work, actually, because some people found it. people found that, traffic wasn't as heavy as you would like, but that's neither here nor there. A lot of times the reason the traffic might not be heavy, it might be your fault, might be just just who knows. Plus, I got tired of the name, the lousy drive. It's like, what is that? It's very, eh. I try to be a little too cute. That's another thing. Don't try to be too cute in some of these website names. All right, but anyway, I just want to tell you that it's all right to hit the reset button. It's okay. You'll learn. It's all right to start over in some things. Don't now. Of course, we're not saying don't quit in the overall portion, but it's all right to hit the reset button. Figure out new things along the way. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I believe. Oh, hold on. Before we get going, ladies and gentlemen, hold on for a second. I got a couple new books I want to tell you about before we go from the podcast. Stay right there. I'm going to walk to the bookshelf. Can you hear me? I'm at the bookshelf. I got a couple books I want to tell you about, and I think that might be good for you. All right. Let me see here. Don't go anywhere. Don't hang up. I'm coming right back. I'm back. I'm back. Did you hear me? Now, I bought this book, and I'm going to read this book, and then it's How to Make a Living with Your Writing. Now, as you well know, I strive myself to be a writer. I want to write a lot. I have a lot of ideas, but and if you have a lot of ideas, please write them down. Keep track of them. I have a lot of ideas for a lot of books, and I'm going to write every idea I have for a book. Like I told you, I'm 42 years old. All right, and we're finally gonna get started on things that we actually want to do. I'm happy about that, and I have a lot of ideas for books. I drive sometimes. I turn off the radio. I think about these ideas, and I'm like, plot this, plot that. But a lot of times they say the best writers are the ones that read a lot, and so I have been reading a lot. I've listened to a lot of audiobooks. I have 80 audiobooks. I have 100 and something books. I've read half of those books. I got half more to go. And it doesn't matter the book. Just read them, and you'll see how they set up and everything like that. But I bought this book because I was like, cool. And I've made a few bucks from writing, but not in any kind of way could I quit and become a full-time writer. Not with the money. I've made on Medium. I haven't made enough to file a LLC. I'll tell you that much. But I made out all right. I wrote I wrote a lot of poems actually, and I thought about that last night. I thought about you. I thought about you, and I was like, you know what? I need to go back to writing poetry because I wrote a lot of poetry, and I thought I was getting quite good with the poetry. And I'm going to get back to writing poetry and stuff like that, and I'm going to share with my audience the poetry that I write. All right. So if you have a significant other and you want to use some of my poetry, feel free. You can go to Medium. You can go to medium.com, look up Tony Rizzano, and you will see the poems I have on there. Matter of fact, right now I have like probably 20, something like that. They're pretty good. They're not bad, not too shabby. But anyway, I got that book, How to Make a Living with Your Writing, and we are going to figure that whole thing out because, my dream goal, my end goal, not the finish line goal, but I want to write because me and my wife had this discussion 2 days ago, and she's like, what do you plan on doing, when you get older? I said, oh, I'm going to write. I said, that's it. I said, I'm not going to be in anybody's truck when I'm 70 years old. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I said, I want to keep writing until I take my last breath. Like, that's my goal. That is the mission. And I'm going to achieve that mission. You know what I mean? And so I have a lot of ideas. These ideas, they don't die. You write them down, you figure things out, and you take it from there. And so if you're like me and there's something that you want to do is like, writing, creating content, we talked about this yesterday. A lot of this podcast, it's for the internet, but a lot of times we get to creating content because without content, you can't do affiliate marketing. Without content, you can't start your own business. So you need content. It doesn't matter. So a lot of this stuff we talk about is content creation, and it's cool. And a lot of times I'm thinking about creating content, doing podcasts. You could turn those into blog posts, which we will start doing. And a lot of times you write stuff, you talk about stuff, and you're like, maybe how can I extend this into, because I've written, 5 pages, 6 pages, and I'm like, if I just keep going, I can get more and more and more better at, completing 150, 200, pages worth of stuff, So of course, you have to do a little research. You have to use a little knowledge that you have, and you can do it. And so that is I know it. Listen, I know right now we're all over the place, but it's okay. It's a part of the it's part of the part it's a part of the podcast charm, that this podcast has. We are all over the place. But for you, there's something that you want to do, something you want to do until you're old and gray. You figure it out and you make it work. And we are going to definitely make a living with your writing. This book is by a lady, Joanna Penn. So we're gonna see how Joanna Penn can help us out, and I will let you know how this book is, how this book goes, and yeah. So if you want to write like yours truly, please feel free to email me, and we can discuss it. But ladies and gentlemen, I know. Listen, I know last couple minutes like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But it's all right. The whole point of this segment is create as much content as you can. It's sort of like the great Tupac. When Tupac died, he had like thousands and thousands of songs he just recorded. And you'll get to that point. You'll have thousands and thousands of hours of video, thousands and thousands of hours of podcasts, thousands of hours of blog posts, things that you can use, things that you can curate, and you can make into, books. You can make into courses. You can make this stuff out into anything that you want. Just be creating the content. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the podcast. We will be back tomorrow with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always, everybody, peace.